Hello YouTube and fellow DC Comic fans, I'm Keith One Shot, and this is my Comic Complete Dramatic Reading Series, and today we will be covering Justice League Legacy Part 2 from DC Comics. All rights, story, art, and characters belong to DC Comics and their respective owners, not me. If you enjoyed this story, feel free to go out and support DC Comics and your local comic book shop. We start this story off at the Justice League's Watchtower satellite, where we see the Justice League and their children from a potential future. We then hear Cube say, "Look at this! Can you believe it?" Cruz then says, "We haven't been up here for years. Remember we used to play up here? Hide and seek?" Then Jenny says, "Mom used to be really stressy about us touching things, in case we crash it or something." Then Jessica says, "Straight on through there. Please, don't touch anything, okay?" Once the League and the future team all assemble in the Watchtower, we hear Cyborg say to the young team, "Okay, you kids all just hang tight. I'm gonna scan you all. Deep tissue analysis, power frequency, DNA, the works." Then Mira says, "You claim to be our children. From the future, I assume. Don't remember giving birth?" Then Hunter tells Mira, "Yeah, about 22 years from now." Mira then walks up to her daughter Serenity and says, "So why are you here?" Serenity then tells Mira, "To find you, all of you." Hunter then says, "You've all been gone for ages, years and years. We came back to the only place where we were sure you would be, the past." Mira then asks Hunter, "Why?" Then Hunter tells Mira, "You're our parents. Isn't that enough of a reason?" Jessica Cruz then turns away. She says, "I can't get my head around this." Then her daughter Cruz says to her, "Mom, please, don't be upset. I always hated it when you got upset." We then see Jason, Jenny, and Cruz looking at Jessica as Jessica says, "Mom, me? I'm your mom?" Cruz then tells Jessica, "Going to be, not just me, the three of us. Jason and Jenny too." Then Jessica says, "Three of you? Oh my god, I don't know what to say. This is all just insane." The Flash then interrupts him by saying, "Look, can we just back off for a second? Have you got any proof to back this all up? You can't just show up here making claims like that and expect us all to believe it." Jason then says to the Flash, "But you're our parents. Why wouldn't you believe us?" Jenny then begins crying. Then Cruz comforts her by saying, "Jenny, come on. Not now, okay?" Jenny then tells Cruz, I'm sorry. It's just, we haven't seen Mom and Dad in so long." Then Jenny reaches out and hugs Jessica. Then Jenny says, "Please, Mom." Superman then tells everyone, "I'm sure we can sort out all of this. If you're in some sort of trouble, we can help." Cruz then places her hand on the emblem on Flash's chest as she says to him, Daddy, please. I know this must be weird." Then Flash tells Cruz, "Wait, I'm gonna be your dad? With Jessica? Oh boy, how am I gonna tell Iris?" Then Cruz replies, "I'm Nora Allen. They all call me Cruz." Flash then says, "Nora." Then Cruz says with a smile, "Yeah, after your mom. After Grandma, I guess." We then see Superman approach Wonder Woman, who looks puzzled by all of this. Superman then says to Wonder Woman, "Diana, you haven't said anything. Are you okay?" Then Wonder Woman replies by saying, "They're telling the truth. I can feel that much. But there's something else." Wonder Woman then points at Hunter and says to him, "Something about you, what you said, about not having the right to care. Am I your mother?" Hunter then replies to her with anger, "I knew it would be like this. I don't know why I should have expected anything else from you." Then Cruz says to Hunter, "Come on, baby. Let's just take a pill here, okay?" Serenity then turns around and says, "Hunter has every right to be angry, Cruz. You don't have to cuddle him." Then Cruz replies, "Not here, Dory. Not in front of all of them." Then Wonder Woman says, "Angry? Why would you be angry? What have I done?" Then Hunter gets in Diana's face as he shouts, "You took one look at me and abandoned me. Left me the minute I was born." Diana then replies to Hunter by saying, "Abandon you?" Then Hunter tells her, "Because I wasn't a girl, I suppose. I wasn't an Amazon." Hunter then grabs Wonder Woman's lasso of truth and shows her his own, as he then tells her, "Don't believe me? Use this. Face the truth." Wonder Woman then looks away in shame, as she then says, "He's not lying. He's telling the truth." Just then, Jenny begins glowing in a yellow aura, as she then shouts, "Oh, this is all horrible. This wasn't supposed to happen. This was going to be good. A happy time back with Mom and Dad." Jason then puts his arm around Jenny, as he says to her, "Jenny, hang on. Don't let it out. Just hold on to my hand, okay? It will go." The Flash then asks Cruz, "Is she okay?" Then Cruz replies to him by saying, "I got your speed, Dad. Jason and Jenny got the lantern light. All of it. All of the emotions. All of the colors. When they get upset, it can get a bit wild." Jessica then puts her hand on Jenny's face, as she says to her, "Oh, you poor thing. I know how that can feel. I'm so sorry. It will be okay. I promise." Then Jenny replies, "Really?" Then Jessica says, "Yes." We then see Cyborg talking to Cube and Simon Baz, as Cyborg says, "Readings back up. What they're saying? Residual tempo energies. DNA matches all around. They're definitely our kids." Then Simon says, "That's really quite something. We deal with crazy stuff all the time, but I would never seen that one coming. Meeting our future children, all grown up? Whoa." Superman then says, "Might be a good time to take a breath for some proper introductions." Flash then says to his children, "Nora, Jenny, and Jason, I'm Barry, and this is Jessica." Jason then says to Barry, "Dad, come on. First names are just weird." Jessica then says, "That's weird. Try it from this side." Cyborg then looks at Cube and says to him, "Your DNA, it's circuitry, mother box. That's pretty amazing." Cube then tells Cyborg, "It evolved. Grew from my first cell. I was born with it that way. Next gen. It is pretty amazing. They all call me Cube, but you name me George Marvin Stone." Cyborg then shakes Cube's hand and says to him, "Pleased to know you, George. You like football?" Cube then responds by saying, "Yeah, a bit. Kinda takes the joy out of sports when you can calculate and predict every shot. Way ahead of the game, though." Then Cyborg says, "You could clean sweep the bookies, I bet." Cube then replies, "You saying I should be gambling?" Serenity then turns and tells Mara, "And you're my mother." Mara replies, "Am I?" Then Serenity says, "I know this must be so hard to accept. I understand that. We must be strangers to you all, expecting you to be our parents when you aren't really. Not yet. We've come a long way to find you." Then, Serenity introduces herself to Mara by saying, "I'm Eldoris Curry, daughter of Arthur and Mara. I am Queen of Oceania, and I sit on the throne of Atlantis. In the name of our family, I have brought magic back to the waters and united the seven seas. I am Serenity. You call me Dory." Then Mara smiles and says, "I like her." We then see Wonder Woman standing around looking ashamed as Superman puts his arm on Hunter's shoulder and says to him, "How about you, son?" "Hunter, is it?" Hunter replies by saying, "Son, all those years growing up with John as a big brother, you have tried to make me feel like a son, even though I wasn't yours. I never made it easy for you and Lois." Superman then says to him, "You know John?" Hunter then tells Superman, him and Damian hated me hanging around with them in that Super Sons club they started. I just thought they were the coolest. That was before. Superman then says, "Before?" Then Hunter tells him, "Doesn't matter. You took me in when Diana abandoned me. You always did your best. What did she ever do?" Diana then turns away with a puzzled look on her face. Cruz then gives Hunter a hug and says to everyone, "Maybe this isn't the best time to ask for a group selfie." Simon Baz then says while confused, I don't mean to sound weird about this or anything, but aren't any of you, well, mine?" Jenny then says to Simon Baz, "You're Simon, aren't you? Mom used to talk about you. I guess you don't know." Simon replies, "Don't know what?" Jason then tells him that you end up leading the Yellow Lanterns after you killed Sinestro. Superman then says to Hunter, "So I guess we believe you, that you are who you say you are. The next big question is, why here? Why now?" Hunter then answers, "We had nowhere else to go." Then Flash says, "Maybe you could tell us what happened. There's 20 years of catching up to do." Cube then says, "If we can sync, it'd be much quicker." And Flash says, "Okay, sure." Cube then places his hand on Cyborg's chest and says, "Uploading data files now." Then Cyborg says, "Whoa, rush! Almost quicker than my systems could handle." Cube then replies, "Sorry, Pops. We used to do it all the time. Join. I guess you haven't yet." Cyborg then tells Cube, "You've all been through that. All of that. Tell them. Show them." Cube then projects images for everyone to see. First, an image of Jessica holding baby Nora in her arms, with Barry at her side. Cube then goes on to say to everyone, "The first years are what we all hang on to. Being children. Children are the world's greatest heroes." We then see images of the future heroes as children, playing and growing up, as Cube continues saying, "We all grew up together, like being part of the best club in the world. Our powers began to show, and we had amazing parents who could show us how to use them. It was a time of wonders, until it all changed, and the world went dark. There was a war." We are then shown images of the Justice League, all fighting some of their greatest foes in a massive battle. Then Cube goes on to say, "A superhuman war. Superpower against superpower. The most brutal war the world had ever seen. Power and fury unleashed by darkness like no one had ever felt. Normal people didn't stand a chance. The world never did." We then see more images of the young heroes as teens, as Cube goes on to tell everyone, "We were hidden away for our protection. Olympus was deserted. The gods had left, fled, died. We never knew. You all said it would be just a little while, but you never came back. We waited, we lived, and we grew up. We never remember what happened to you, but we remember how afraid you all were when you hit us. Eventually, we found our way back to the world. What was left of it. We tried to help save it, do what we could. It wasn't enough. None of you were there." Eldoris, Serenity claimed the throne in Atlantis, now the last remaining free nation in the world. We tried to bring the light and color back. We tried to bring hope, but then Sovereign came. Sovereign took Olympus from us and smashed it into the earth. From there, Sovereign spread her reign, merciless, angry at those few left alive. It's Sovereign's world now. It might as well be Apocalypse. We found the last Forever Stones, and with Vincent's help, came here to find you." Cube then shows the League a final image of Sovereign. Then Mara says, "Well, that's a lot to take in." Then Jessica hugs her 3 children and says to them, "Oh, you poor children. What kind of life is that for any child?" Then Simon says to Cube, "All that stuff you said happened. That's more than a decade away, isn't it?" Hunter then answers Simon's question by saying, "Yes, I suppose it must be. For us, it's just history." Then Superman tells Hunter, "There'll be enough time to talk about that. But look at them. They're tired. Probably hungry too, aren't you?" Cruz then says jokingly, "I'm starving." Then Jenny replies, "Cruz, you're always hungry." Then Flash says to them, "I get that." Jessica then holds Jenny and Jason's hand as she says, "Let's take them home. I mean with us. Let's take them home to our place. They came here to find us. They need to be looked after properly." Cruz then says, "Dad, will you come too?" Barry replies, "Sure, should I?" Jessica then gives Barry a kiss and tells him, "You really should. Not being a single parent today." Superman then says to Hunter, "If that's what you all want." Hunter then tells Superman, "Nothing more." Then Hunter turns away from Wonder Woman. Serenity then asks Mara, "Is Dad? Will Arthur be there? I haven't seen him here, and, I was just wondering, Mira then tells her daughter, Arthur is lost right now, but our home is yours. Superman then says, we just need to go and make some arrangements. I have to call Lois too. Give us a minute. Wonder Woman then says to everyone, are you sure about this? And Superman replies to her by saying, we can't just let them wander around on their own. They need guidance. Then Mira says, I agree. This isn't their time, and we need to watch over them while we figure this all out. The young team then talks amongst themselves, as Jenny says, can you all believe this? It's them. I'm so happy right now. Then Cube says, I think we all are, right? Then Serenity says, just remember while we're here, they can't know, and we can't tell them. Then Cruz says, let's just enjoy this while we can, okay? Superman then walks up to the young team and tells them, right, let's go everyone, time to go home. We then see Simon Baz talking to Wonder Woman, as he says to her, so I killed Sinestro. Then Wonder Woman turns away from Simon, hangs her head low and says to him, please Simon, just leave me alone. Then she walks away. We then jump over to the Batcave, where we see Batman researching something on the computer, as he says, Genie, show me all the data we have on the Kindred. Genie answers, okay Bruce, would you like to play a game? Then Batman says, not right now. Is this everything? Genie answers, yes, Watchtower, Argus, local camera phone footage, and Victor's own scans. Batman then continues his research, as he says, there's song. Do we have any frequency analysis? Genie replies, it's been analyzed by 130 different individuals from across the world so far. Batman then says, any conclusions? Genie tells Batman, yes, it's a signal. Batman then says, is that all they could come up with? Yes, Genie replies. Then Batman says, are there any other comparative signals anywhere else on file? Historical or current? Genie replies, yes, one. Batman then says, location. Genie then tells Batman, Midway City, signal still transmitting. We received data from Victor about what they found there. I don't think he was aware they're connecting signals. Batman then says, the Kindred signal is targeted here. Genie answers, more of an echo of it. And Batman says, an answer. Get all this data to the Watchtower. And Victor. Genie then tells Batman, trying, the transmission is being jammed. Would you and Aquaman like to play a game? Batman, confused by this, then says, Aquaman. Then suddenly, 2 smoke grenades get shot into the cave of Batman, filling up the room. Then Genie says, perhaps a game of chess. While Batman is choking on the gas, we see a shadowy figure enter the room, then kick Batman violently, crashing him into the glass, then smash Batman in the face, breaking his nose and knocking him through the glass, causing him to bleed and fall to the ground. We then see that the attacker is Cyber Curry from the future, and as he stands over Batman, who is covered in blood, laying on the floor, Curry says to Batman, been a long time, Bruce. I need to borrow your stuff. And that ends today's story. Comic published by DC Comics. All rights, story art, and characters belong to DC Comics and their respective owners. Not me. This has been Justice League issue 27, Legacy Part 2, and I'm your host, Keith One Shot. If you like this video, make sure to check out the rest of my Comic Complete dramatic reading series, and support DC Comics by picking up a copy of the trades and single issue comics. Support your local comic book shop. Take care and have a great day. Goodbye! Today's video is dedicated in the loving memory of Panther Cat.